Watch Ben.
And good afternoon, everyone. I am Boca Ben,
Hi, Melanie.
and this is
I'm hyped up on coffee. I am so
that's
sorry.
good. That's good. Um, what's a lot of coffee? Because this
I
is you're only
usually,
at 9 a.m. for you. So what's considered a lot?
a lot is 4 cups. Normally it's two. I'm at two right now.
4 cups. Okay, how many ounces in a cup?
Depends on the cup.
Okay.
This is my cup right now. I'm on two of these, but I
Okay.
fill it about halfway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm usually about 20 ounces, like right out of the gate, plus another like 10 or 20 throughout the day.
Dang. Okay.
It's kind of a lot. It's kind of
It's
gross.
kind of
Yeah.
like drink water.
And then I have to, yeah, and then I don't because like
Hydrate, friends.
to
That's how
really
you stay
balance
young.
40 ounces of coffee, the amount of water you have to drink is insane. So
Yeah, I haven't been good about drinking water, and then I've been going skating a lot, and so I keep having like calf cramps. It's
yeah,
terrible. So I'm trying to get better about hydrating as I like drink a ton of coffee.
it's important. Do you drink electrolytes?
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
I've been trying to do that. Get
Yeah,
some Gatorade. And like now they make Gatorade that's kind of like Pedialyte-ish. Like and Pedialyte also
yeah.
now has like a sports version. And so I've been trying to like down it. Because I'll go like skating for like 2 or 3 hours and it'll wears you
Yeah.
out.
I really like Element, LMNT.
Okay.
It's a little packet and you put in your water, packed with, all the minerals, potassium, magnesium, zinc, something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Find it works.
Whatever.
Uh, all right, we got a great show. I'm a little sweaty because I rushed back on my bike to make it, and it's hot in Florida, which I hate saying to people because there's a huge snowstorm in Toronto, but that's not my fault. I don't live there, but yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, some people like
um,
snowstorms, so it's fine.
it's great for kids. Get out of school early or school canceled. I mean, snow
Yeah.
days are, you know, that's one winner.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through. We got some big stories. So let's start off with Glitch. So this is a kind of a crazy story because like years ago, this guy reached out and he sent me the plan for Glitch, and I was
Mhm.
like, no fucking way this is happening. Like it was so ambitious, and I can't remember what he asked me like for advice or I don't remember, but I remember thinking like, there's no way this is gonna happen. And wow, did this guy prove me wrong? So they've already built one massive stadium in LA, and they just announced that there will be another esports stadium in what I think is now the epicenter for esports, at least collegiate esports, and that's Ohio. Specifically, this is going to be built in Columbus, so 2,000 square foot. Sorry, 2,000 seat. I forget the square footage, but I think this is significant because I think we're just seeing the trend of more bigger, badder esports venues,
Mhm.
but also I think it really solidifies that the Midwest really is the way to go. And you
And
consider
why
yourself
is the
Midwestern.
Midwest so popular for this? Is it because there's not much else and they're just like esports? Yes.
In a way, yes. I think it's a combination of cold weather
Yeah.
and a lot of school. I mean, like a lot of schools, given perhaps the sparse population.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do know like Akron is really good at esports, so
Yeah.
shout out to them.
One of the first esports programs was Harrisburg College or University in
Mm,
Pennsylvania. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of, I wouldn't call them small towns, but not, but
mm-mm.
small cities that
Yeah.
are really pioneering the early esports programs, and they're going to be getting the
Yeah.
venues. But the speculation, and the article referenced this, is that they want it to be anchored by a big esports franchise. So
Hmm.
Ohio doesn't have a Call of Duty or Overwatch, or
Yeah.
I don't think any LCS org is based in Ohio. So they're going to have to draw
Mm-mm.
something to the state.
Yeah. Yeah. No, LCS is all LA based because they all have to play their games there.
But even the orgs, like EG is, kind of Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah.
Um, Immortals
Dignitas
is
is Texas.
Immortals are kind of
Where are they at?
Dignitas. So Immortals. is kind of like Great Lake regions, but
Okay.
that could be the one. Maybe I think they're trying to make it like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Dignitas, good question.
I think they're Texas.
Texas, yeah. So there's nothing really. The closest would be Chicago and Chicago's not doesn't even have a Call of Duty team anymore.
Hmm.
No, they do.
Correct
No,
us
they
if we're
don't.
wrong, chat. Because now I'm like, I have no idea. And I'm not going to Google it.
Um,
So that's interesting. I'm
yeah,
surprised that this is going well because I feel like everyone else is talking about how esports is kind of going downward. And I think you even said like there's a lot of esports orgs that are like closing, collapsing. So I'm curious why they're doing well when it seems like everything else is just kind of like tapering off. Now that like everyone's kind of going outside and like we're not all stuck at home playing games.
yeah. Um, sorry, I just wanted to fact check this because I got a little nervous. Um, right, there is no Chicago team. They got moved. Part of the it was like a weird deal where it sent um, Optic became the Texas team, and Chicago
Oh,
became
it's Optic I'm thinking of. That's in
Boston
Texas.
Breach.
So,
Yeah,
okay. Maybe it's
Boston
not
Breach.
Dignitas. I get them all confused.
Sorry, no, yeah. Actually, Dignitas, I'm getting like a real Philly vibe. I'm thinking Philly. I don't know. If
Okay.
we were on a game show, I some Philly connection, either on
Really?
the investment
Really?
side, yeah, like 70 something with the 76ers, I feel like are tied to Dignitas.
Okay.
Okay. But yes, you bring up a good point, which kind of the next story is there seems to be a wave of this like tier two, tier three. I would keep it tier two teams that are going under
Mhm.
and really just kind of ceasing operations. So we heard one of Israel's biggest Team Finest, are ceasing operations. Rix.gg, which is based in the UK. And now we're seeing X7, based in Isle of Man, also ceasing operations. And it's even more surprising that they can't even they're not even sold for anything. They're just like saying we're kind of done. Um, I don't know. Any thoughts? You're like,
Um,
who?
I mean, we saw this a lot with some of the bigger orgs during the pandemic because they weren't making money because they weren't doing anything in person. They weren't selling as much merch. They weren't doing so they just couldn't afford to have their esports teams. We saw that in like Europe a lot. Um, so I'm curious if this is just kind of like that still happening, like just not getting the revenue they need to support. And as much as I know, like gaming makes a lot of money, it does seem like it's really hard to make money in esports and like sustain an organization. You require lots of sponsorships. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you are the expert, not me. But it requires a lot of like relationship building, BD, sponsorship. I don't really know how orgs stay afloat to pay like good players and all the staff that come along with them. And then especially if you want to be competitive, now you're like, I need like trainers on staff. I need people who, are going to cook the food and make sure that like I need a facility that they stay healthy. Like you're seeing like the health push, but that is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I think if you're in the category of owning a franchise, whether it's an Activision or Riot franchise, you may be sort of um, cash flow poor or operationally poor, but you're asset rich. These assets, for the most part, with some exceptions, are appreciating very well in value, even during sort of a slow, bad time in the market.
Can you define what asset rich is?
So, for example, let's say you own a Call of Duty franchise, but you could be losing money every year. Maybe you're losing $1 million a year. Maybe you're losing $2 million a year. So your sort of profit and loss shows that you're a loser. But your franchise, maybe when you bought it was 25 mil, and now it's 50 mil. So if you were to sell the company, you'd be rich. Like your asset
Hmm.
has really appreciated, but on a cash flow basis or profit loss, you're not doing well. You're losing
Yeah.
money. I think that's the case where a lot of them are losing money, but the franchises still have these assets that are largely improving in valuation. And we're seeing the orgs that are exiting are ones that had no assets that are
Yeah.
just like shutting down.
I feel like this should be a class I need to sit in and learn about because like a lot of that went over my head, but I'm just gonna nod and say okay. Because now I'm
Well,
curious, like what makes you grow if you're not bringing in money? But we don't have time to like necessarily
yeah,
go into all of that. If you have
but
like a
I'm gonna
30-second,
plug if
yeah.
you go to Conestoga College or Algoma University or Keano College, some of the great colleges that we have developed esports curriculum for, then you'd be able to learn all this. So
I'm not gonna
yeah,
go back to
no, you're not gonna go back to college. It's tough.
college. If I did, it would not be for esports. Sorry.
Yeah,
But I am curious. I think the business of it is very interesting. So we may
yeah.
have to have like a spin-off of Ben teaching me the
A Boca
business of
Ben, maybe
esports.
yeah, maybe it's a Boca Ben Live franchise edition or yeah.
I would love it because I like to watch what esports orgs are doing, but I all the time I'm like, where are they getting the money and how are they sustaining themselves? I don't know. Like G2 comes out with the most elaborate videos, and I know from making tiny little productions how expensive and hard, and I can't imagine the money that they're putting into it. And how do
Yeah.
they like recoup from that? Like, where's the money coming from?
So and this is X7 cited this in that article, is like they relied on investment. So the
Mm,
investment dried up and they're like, well, that's all we can do.
yeah.
So and that's a bad model when you're relying on investment to keep fueling your operations and your growth.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we got two more
Yeah, we
stories.
gotta hurry. Okay.
We got two more. Okay. Steam is coming to your Tesla. Now this is you don't have a Tesla, do you? No. I don't know, just we
No.
all assume in the East that everyone in the West has a Tesla.
There's a lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot. I feel like every other car is a
yeah,
Tesla,
yeah.
but I do not.
Like you're
If anybody
poor
wants to gift me one, I will take it. Thank you.
if you have a Model 3, that's considered poor. Okay.
I just have a Subaru.
Me too. I also have a
Come
Subaru.
from Arkansas. We got Subarus.
Um, so Steam
Anyways.
is coming to this is a beta and they've already sort of talked about this and we know kind of, the car can't be going when you're doing it. So
Mm.
what's the point? The car can't be moving when you're accessing the games. So this is cool and awesome and like I love how futuristic it is, but just practically speaking, where's the application here?
I don't know. That was my question. I was like, why? Why would I want to play a video game in my car? I guess maybe if you're like on a road trip, but I wouldn't take a Tesla necessarily on like a cross country road trip.
And I don't think you can. It sounded like they're not the whatever the motor vehicle regulatory body. I forget the IIHF or something said that you can't use it while the car is driving because even for the passenger because it's going to be distracting for the driver. So like, really, what's the point? I'm trying to
All those
understand.
Tesla camping where
Yeah.
you
So
want
like,
to play your video games instead of go enjoy Joshua Tree or wherever you're going.
yeah. So yeah. I don't know.
I mean, there's
I
maybe
want
a
to love this.
correlation.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in LA love going and like camping in Joshua Tree and climbing and all of that jazz. So they'll take their Tesla and play video games. Like
Yeah.
usually if you're doing that, you're wanting to get away from the electronics though. So I need somebody to tell us like, how would you use this?
I, the only thing I can think of is if there is sort of displays in the rear. So for the backseat passengers could game, that would be cool. But sounds like from what I saw, it wasn't. It was the front
It's
console.
the front thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that you use to help you drive and like
right.
have the map and stuff. It's like you have to be parked and you can't be driving.
And what kind of Wi-Fi? What kind of like
What
service
the
are you
internet
getting
connection's
in
gotta suck.
Tesla? Right. Like how laggy is your gameplay going to be? So listen, I think it's cool and it's great, but I struggle to see where it would be applicable.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe if you're trying to distract your kid while you're like doing stuff, but you're
yeah.
not allowed to leave your kids in the car. So
and there's bad
Can, like,
Wi-Fi.
if like, the AC be going while you're in it and,
Yeah,
like,
then you're
playing?
killing the battery, and now it's not good for the environment, and now it's bad for climate change, and now you that's why you bought the Tesla.
That's totally why you bought the Tesla, not
So
as a power status
no,
or a
no.
flex
Eco
or
status. It's like it's an eco status symbol. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. Let's
The amount of
finish
people
with
I've seen buy Teslas, but that are also very wasteful. I'm like, "What?"
yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I get it. If I had the money, I would buy Tesla too. I would be I'd want to have eco status, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
All right,
last
now
story.
let's play a game. The game is where does Ben side on this issue? Okay, because
On the
we
eco
don't,
one?
no, the next story, this one coming up. Okay,
Oh, I
because right,
don't
because you
you
know
keep
how I
throwing me off. I thought I knew you,
yeah,
Ben.
I
I
know
thought.
because I'm a capitalist at heart, and I try to stick to my strict capitalist beliefs, but sometimes I get thrown, and this is one of these stories.
Oh,
So
no.
the short version is that there was a class action lawsuit started from two people in Quebec, essentially saying that they're suing Fortnite for making the game too addictive. Now we've kind of seen similar type of lawsuits on social media, like with Facebook and other things, and almost always they're thrown out.
Mhm.
And this time, they actually didn't throw it out, and they're going to hear out the case. So the case is that they're suing Fortnite for making the game too addictive for their kids. Where do I side on this one?
Where do you side? I know where I side,
Where,
but you're hard to read now. I would say you're on the like, let the game be. But now that you're
yeah,
like being like, what side am I on? I'm like, I
no,
don't
you're
know.
right.
Maybe you're on the side of the
No,
people
no,
suing.
no. I would throw this out in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
me too. There's
Okay,
just not enough science behind it being addictive. I'm a fan of controlling kids' games. I think we talked about this when like the China stuff came out. And
yeah,
I'm a fan of protecting you spending money. Like, I am so scared that my little 5-year-old is going to click on a button and waste a bunch of money. Like, spending money should be difficult. There should be
yeah.
lots of hoops to jump through for me to spend money in a game, especially any in game things. Like, I'm going to side with that one. But game addiction is just not proven. I know there's a lot of people that have swear that they have been addicted to games, and maybe they have, but it's not a legal or medical actual term that is used. Um, and if you are like questioning me, go check out takethis.org, check out Dr. Rachel Cohort. There's a lot of literature on this. And if I was Fortnite, I would tap into Take This and Dr. Cohort because this is what they spend their life doing is researching this stuff. Um, I am a huge fan of this idea of like moral panic, and we like to blame all of our problems on one thing as a generation. Gaming is still one of them. And I think that our parenting, it's easy to let your kids play games right now. It got even easier to use it as an out during the pandemic. And it's really hard to take it back because it is fun. I just don't see the actual addictive side of things. I think it's
Yeah.
parents have a hard time parenting. Maybe they need therapy, maybe they need other things, but blaming the game and like the game being fun to me is not correct.
So yeah, I would acknowledge that the game is addictive. I would agree with that. But so
It's
what?
made to keep you entertained,
Yeah,
but to be addicted is a very heavy legal term. Like I just don't think that our medical term. I just don't think like using the word addictive is
right,
correct.
right. But
It's
I'm saying even
engaging.
even if it did meet whatever this medical or psychological definition
Yeah.
is, I bet a lot of other things meet that definition too. A lot of
Right.
TV shows could be addictive. A lot of foods are
Exactly.
addictive. A lot of so
As I drink
kind
my
of
coffee.
yeah,
Your 40 ounces of coffee. No one's suing coffee.
yeah. So to single out Fortnite, which probably isn't even and again, I have no issue with even the VBOC ecosystem. I think the only time where it goes over the line, and we're seeing this in Europe where they're cracking down, is the loot boxes.
Yep.
Loot boxes are this very, very gray area where I do
Yeah.
understand, as much as I'm a capitalist and let them do whatever they want and blah, blah, blah. Okay, like you should have to be 18. Like it is kind of gambling.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Yeah.
might need to be some restriction there.
I agree. Yeah. The loot boxes were what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fortnite doesn't have, thank God, there's no loot box, right? There's no,
I don't think so.
I don't think you could buy
It's been a while
anything.
since I've played, so they might have made changes.
Yeah. My PC has been dead for 2 months and I haven't fixed it yet. I haven't played a video game in like 2 months since like end
That's
of
not
October.
true. I guess maybe on your PC we played a game, not Call of Duty.
We played Counter Strike.
Counter
That was
Strike.
like two. That was two. Yeah, that was like two
Was that
months ago.
really 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Is this why I thought maybe you just didn't like playing with me.
No, don't take it personally. It was my PC died, and I just, and then someone came over and I thought he fixed it, but he didn't. Now I got to take it in, and so we'll be
Yeah.
back. We'll play more Counter Strike once I'm back online.
I would prefer Fortnite, but
Okay.
yes.
I haven't even played Chapter 4, so
I don't know the last time I played
whatever.
Fortnite.
So
Don't judge
we'll
me.
play Fortnite. I do want to promote something personally.
Yes.
So gamersaloon.com, site where you can play other people for money, now has retro and VR games, which is very cool. Something we just put out. So you can play 7 different sports retro games
Mm.
and 11 different VR games, which I need to get a new VR headset
Yeah,
and
I don't
start
have
playing
one.
them.
VR to me is like Tesla. I'm like, that's a flex if you have one of those.
It's status. It's a status symbol.
Yeah.
It's a very cheap status symbol. Like PS5.
I mean, that's how people act when I
PS5
say
is a
I'm a
flex.
PC player. They're like, "Oh, okay," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's a handy me. It's a hand me down. I didn't spend money on this PC."
Yeah. PC is, yeah, for sure. It's master race. Um, but the new meta, whatever, the new blah blah blah, I think it's a lot. It's like $1,800. So that's a huge flex if you've got the
Right.
black one. But if you have the white Quest 2, yeah, it's like $300. You know, there's no flex.
That's a flex.
So if you're watching and you play retro and VR games, we want you to come on the platform, try it out. You can play against people for
Mm.
$5 or more.
What are some
And
of the retro great games that you have? Because I don't know if I play them.
so they're all sports. So it's
Oh.
NHL
Wah,
94,
wah.
95, NBA Jam, Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball, Tecmo Bowl.
I'm like a Mario Brothers, the original, Bubble
Yeah.
Bobble, Contra. Those are my retro games.
So maybe we could do speed running. Like maybe if you can kind of do like PvP in speed running and you log your, I don't know. We have to see if you could log your time arbitrarily, you know.
Nobody said I was good. Please don't make me play in front of
Yeah.
people. I'm terrible at gaming. I just really like it.
So I think we should do a retro stream.
Yes.
I would play Contra.
It's been so long. And I think it's like left, right, A, B. It's like this like code that you
Yeah.
put in so you can get like unlimited lives. Somebody remember that?
And games where the screen moves like this. Isn't that Contra?
Yeah.
You move or the screen moves? Maybe the screen moves.
It's I think a combination of both. Yeah. Oh, or Battletoads. Ugh, loved Battletoads.
Mega Man.
Mega.
Yeah, Mega
That
Man
OG
is
Mega
also
Man.
classic.
That is a classic. Now I want to go play it. I don't know if I can get access to it. Maybe on my Switch. How do people play retro
At
games?
emulators, yeah, you can. It's probably a little complicated to figure out which one for all the games, but I think once you got
Mhm.
it, then yeah, it's the way to go.
Okay, this is
Definitely.
another spin-off episode then. Melanie learns about how to play retro games.
Me too. I need to learn. I mean,
I've got a few on the Switch, but
yeah,
it's so hard when you've played it on like the older consoles and then you're trying to play it on the new one and it's like it's delayed and it's just not the same.
right. I had that problem with GoldenEye. I don't know if you played GoldenEye, but when you play Gold, there's only one pad. There's only one stick in GoldenEye. So like, how do you how would you play that now with two sticks?
You just leave one of the sticks behind.
But you can't. It's so hard because you're just so used to this now. So
Yeah.
now to
No,
go to
that's
one and play the
yeah.
game, you're like, oh, I move and I look around and with the same button. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
How
Good
do you do that?
times. Uh, now I feel like gaming boomers.
Yeah, true.
Somebody teach us how to play our old games.
Yeah. All right. So we have some future content. We're gonna do some retro streams. We're gonna game once I get my PC back, and we'll learn about franchises and why they make
Yes,
or lose
I
money.
really do want to learn about it, and we can plug in that. Oh, you also had another plug that you wanted to do. Now I don't remember what it was. It was like a
Oh,
camp or something for
yes.
youth.
Oh, there's a organization here in Florida, like it gets Jews more involved in Jewish programming and things like that
Mm-hmm.
for high school kids, but they're doing an event for everybody where it's at this place called Silver Retro Arcade, which has
Mm.
like all the awesome games from the 80s. So it's like reliving your 80s with all sorts of crazy games, tons of pinball machines like from the 80s and 90s and 70s. So if you're in
Nice.
SoFlo and you want to relive the 80s, message me. I'll give you the link.
But you have to be in Florida. It's in
Yeah.
person.
It's in Delray Beach. Doesn't that sound really fancy?
Mm.
It's not, but it's cool.
Yeah, people like to name things fancy things. There's stuff like I'll be like, "Ooh, sounds so fancy," and then it's like, "Oh, maybe not."
Anything with the word beach in it is fancy.
Yeah,
Doesn't Miami Beach sound so much better than Miami?
yeah. Or if it has Del Rey, like Marina Del Rey, that's
Right.
what that's what LA likes to do. They'll add like a little
Los, Del, Santa.
Del Rey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Anyways,
Santa Del Rey, right? That's what you would call it on the West Coast. Or
no.
Los Del Rey.
There you go.
All right. That's the show.
That's it.
Thanks for
Pretty
tuning in.
simple.
We'll hopefully be back next week.
I'll be in a different location though. Hopefully, I'll be available. I will be in Arkansas. So if you're in Northwest
Whoa.
Arkansas, hit me
Wow.
up.
Okay. So live from Arkansas next week.
I'll have to remember to bring my laptop.
Bring the laptop. Absolutely. Thanks everyone for tuning in on Boca Ben,
I'm Melanie.
and have a great rest of your day.